All right, we are going to do the 10 things about Romania that would shock Americans. This is from the view of the Calderon family. I think they're originally American and they moved to Romania. I'm not exactly sure where they moved to in Romania, but they seem like really cool people. So I'm excited to hear about the 10 things that they think would shock Americans. Let's go.
No, I'm done.
Yes, no.
Now I gotta go.
Pablo.
Bye. Thanks for joining. Are we done?
Welcome to our vlog today. Say hi. Hi. Mila wanted to join us today, so hopefully we can get through the video with her. Right? Yeah. Today we want to discuss 10 things about Romania that would shock Americans. Us being Americans, our friends back home, sometimes they're like, what? That doesn't make sense. So we thought we'd share our top 10 things about Romania or things that happen in Romania that would shock Americans. What? What are you confused about?
I'm not confused. I'm thinking what would shock people.
I already have a list.
Oh.
I come prepared. Okay. Number 1, you have to pay a tax if you want to travel outside of the city you live in. If you want to drive your vehicle outside of the city that you live in.
Yes.
So you can't.
Wait, I've never heard of this. If you want to drive outside of the city you live in, you have to pay a tax? I thought maybe outside of the country, but outside of the city, that's crazy.
You can't just go take a weekend trip. You have to think ahead of time and pay the tax. I think you can pay it, what, like yearly in advance? So you can even just go to the gas station and pay, what's it called? Rovineta? Yeah. Thanks. Did I say it right? Can you say Rovineta? Oh. So, yeah, like I said, you can't just take a weekend trip somewhere like you can in the States.
You can.
And in the States, they do have, especially like on the East Coast, they have tolls. So it's kind of a similar thing, but I mean, as far as like the western part of the country, there are no tolls. You could drive for days and days without needing to pay a toll. Yeah, in the United States. Yeah. So here, obviously, it's different. If we go outside of our city, Brașov, we have to make sure that is
Rovineta. I think I've heard of that, but really interesting still.
Current the Rovineta so that we don't get fined for it.
But it's not as difficult as it sounds.
No, it's easy. You gotta go to the gas station, but that's strange for Americans to think that you can't just up and plan your trip. Like,
Yeah.
You gotta think about that.
It's weird. Actually, it is weird.
Well, on that thought, like, you're going to the gas station probably anyways if you're taking a trip to, like, fill up on gas. So that's easy. That's easy.
Okay. Number 2. At a restaurant, the servers will not take your credit card out of your sight. In America, they take your card, they go to the back, do whatever, charge it, come back. Here, they bring their little machine to the table. They will never leave.
I don't remember this, but maybe that's true. I mean, when my wife and I were back there in 2022, I don't remember that, but it could be true.
With your card, which makes sense, right?
It's the best system, actually.
Yeah, they won't actually take your credit card out of your sight.
Number 3. I don't know if this is normal at all, but at least
it's normal here in our city, at least in Romania, I think.
I think it's just with our doctor because she's cool. She's super cool. It's perfectly normal to call, text, email your doctor personally. Your family doctor.
That's weird.
Yeah, directly.
Crazy.
Actually, any doctor. Because when you have surgery.
When I was texting my surgeon asking.
For us, we have like an app where you can like message your provider through, but really interesting, you can just text them.
Him some questions or things that went wrong afterward. I had his personal cell phone number that I was texting him questions. In the States, man, absolutely not. Like
you have
to go. No, you have to go through. I mean, you can email your doctor, but it goes to the assistant, who then will maybe get a message to your doctor, but you can't just email your doctor. You can't just call or text your doctor at all. So that would definitely shock some Americans that you can get in touch with your doctor directly.
I think that would be more shocking going back because we got used to that.
True, yeah, it would be hard going back and being like, what, I can't just talk to my doctor?
Aren't you my homeboy?
Ask him a quick question?
That was cool.
Number 4.
Packages. 4. When you order something and it comes to your house, they will not leave it on your doorstep. You have to be home, right?
Not necessarily. You can arrange things.
But in general, in the States, when you order a package, if you're not there, they just leave it on your doorstep. Unless you specify.
What? So you do have to still sign for things in America. Like there's still packages you have to sign for. You also have to sign for packages in Romania as well. I don't know about this one. This one's shaky.
That someone has to be there to get a signature. Here, it's just common practice. If there's a delivery, you have to be home.
Yeah. Sometimes they give you a PIN number that you have to give to the delivery person, or your ID. I have to use my ID a few times before.
Yeah,
but
it's very
actually
secure.
Safe.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this before. Maybe share.
Number 5.
Yes, number 5 is expect to pay for your friends on your birthday or anyone you invite to celebrate your birthday. You're expected to pay for everybody else, which is why I don't really like celebrating my birthday personally. That's one of the reasons why.
Is that why you didn't do something for my 40th birthday this year?
These guys are 40 years old? That's crazy.
Pay for it. What? We planned something for you.
What'd you plan?
It was your daughter who actually planned it all. She wanted to.
Okay.
She actually wanted to. I had something else in mind and she's like, no, I'm taking over this time.
So yes, you do pay for other people on your own birthday, which is backwards to Americans. Americans, you get treated on your birthday.
Number 6.
Number 6. There's a saying I use here that mold is a way of life. Every building almost here will have mold in it. Whether it's a brand new apartment, whether it's an older house, during the winter times, the colder months, you will get some mold in your house. Whether it's usually just around the windows or around the doors. Yeah.
Never had that happen to me. I mean, we cleaned everything. I never had that happen to me.
You'll find black mold, and I know black mold in America, that is like, yeah, pretty much. It's horrible. People will move, and because it's different. Here, the houses are made like from concrete, cement, so the mold is not permeating through the entire house. It's like surface, right?
And nice bathroom.
Yes, there was some mold in Carolina's bathroom that we had to take care of, and that's just common here. Nobody's gonna move because of mold. You just take care of it and move on and check it next week. Literally, even in our apartment that we used to live in, that was a fairly new apartment, right? And the mold around the windows would get awful in the wintertime. I would have to check every single week.
They must do something weird, like not open windows, because I mean, I would shower and then I would have they would have a fan or you would have a window that you could open. So they must just not be airing their place out.
Really bad.
I have to spray it every week. So people are used to that. It's not a big deal. Whereas in the States, that's a huge deal.
Truth be told, it's just poor building quality. I know some people will get offended, but that's the fact.
Or building quality here.
Ready.
All over Romania, like the way houses are built are just
The insulation around the windows.
and that's just a problem here.
I'll add one little comment on that as far as the building things. Be careful when you're walking in a lot of buildings around here if you're not from here, because their steps are different sizes.
That's the old ones
Even some of the newer apartment complexes, like
that we lived in.
the ramps for you to put your stroller or somebody in a wheelchair they're like this steep. It's impossible to get a stroller up. Or their steps, the sizes would be, this, the next one would be even taller, the next one shorter. So you have to really pay attention when you're walking up the stairs.
Yeah.
Number 7.
Number 7.
Best number in the world.
Where's number 9?
It'll come up pretty soon. Just wait. Number 7 is 0 tolerance. So if you want to have a drink at dinner, even if it's just one glass, half a glass, whatever, you cannot drive afterward.
In Romania.
Oh, I never drink, so
you will
I didn't.
get your license. If you are stopped and they do the breathalyzer, and they do random breathalyzers on people. They just stop random cars. You don't have to be driving crazy, and they do a breathalyzer. And if you have even a 0.001, you will get your license taken away.
Which is crazy for a European country, but at the same time, there's a lot of accidents here with drunk driving.
Yeah, and I just feel like I hear people in the States, you know, they're on their 4th DUI or something, driving under the influence, driving while intoxicated. And they just get a slap on the wrist and they go and do the same thing again. So I think there maybe should be a balance between the two. Because obviously one drink or half a drink is not going to really
do anything,
affect you or affect most people. But it is a safer law to have than they do in the States.
Actually, this summer on our trip to the US, I had a few freak out moments because our friends, we would go for dinner out or just hang out somewhere, and they'll order a beer or a drink, and they'll be the ones driving. I'm like, what are you doing? You can't do that. And then they're like, what are you talking about? This is America, and we have certain percentage that we can have a beer or whatnot. But yeah, I was freaking out, and I think that was more shocking for me. But yeah.
Okay, there's only 3 left. Number 8, new moms, if you've just had your baby and you've had a job, like you've been working, you get 2 years paid maternity leave.
You get 2 years here?
Yeah, you get 2 years, it's paid like 80% of your pay, but for 2 years.
Lady Bonarescu, if you're listening to this, my wife, if you're listening, please, let's move to Romania and have another kid. You get 2 years off? Oh, that's incredible.
And I think you've had to have your job for a certain amount of years. You can't just get hired one day, have a baby a month later, and have 2 years off. That's not how that works. But if you're a Romanian, obviously I didn't get that because when I had Mila, because
never mind.
I'm American. So you have to be Romanian.
Because I'm your sugar daddy. Just kidding, I'm not a sugar daddy.
And Mila's back. So yeah, so that's pretty awesome that you can get 2 years off. Number 9 is not just to Romania. That is definitely more of a
outside of the U.S.
outside of the United States thing. But no shoes in the house, right? You cannot wear.
I don't do shoes. Any house I go into, even in America, I take my shoes off. I don't. Feels weird. It feels dirty bringing your shoes and walking around a house.
Your shoes inside the house. People here, they have house slippers instead. They even have house slippers for their guests who come over.
It's kind of gross, actually.
When you think, oh, yeah, I don't like using other people's guest slippers. I'm like, ew.
It's like, nah.
No, I'm good. I'd rather go barefoot.
Yeah, which is all weird.
That's not weird for me. I always like to go barefoot, even in the winter time. But, yeah, so that's just an American thing. And there are several people in America that also take their shoes off. We're not saying all Americans wear shoes in their house. That's not true. But in general, you don't need to take your shoes off when you go to someone's house in America. And even here, when we tell people when they come over, you don't have to take your shoes off if you don't want to, whatever you're comfortable with. That's just our Americanness coming out when we say that.
Yeah. Do what you want, because America.
And finally, number 10.
Last one.
Is
Number 9.
I just said number 9.
No shoes in the house.
Okay, finally, the last one, number 10 is you have to pay for your surgeries ahead of time here.
Oh, interesting.
That's just shocking to me when that happened, when I had to pay for my gallbladder surgery, and they're like, okay, you know, come in a few days before and you need to pay your bill. I was like, what? In America, they bill you, right? They'll send you a bill later, after the fact. Even a couple of weeks, months after the fact. I don't know how long it takes.
Because in America, these things cost millions of dollars, it seems like. I mean,
thousands of dollars.
It's pretty much the equivalent of $1 million.
You can't pay your surgery just on the spot ahead of time. But here, I mean, it was still expensive. I think my surgery was
$1,000.
4,000 lei, so $1,000, and you had to pay that up front.
That was before inflation.
And a lot of times you can get, I can't remember the phrase now, but basically it's like a coupon from your family doctor to get some of the price off and whatnot. But
that's
yeah,
crazy.
That's very strange, and it would be very strange for Americans to pay for your surgery before you even have it.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
That's unheard of.
You had 2 surgeries already.
I've had 2 surgeries here, and only one, and I've had 1 surgery in America and 2 surgeries here.
And which was better?
Both were fine. Comparable. They were both just fine. I did have a lot of friends back in the States nervous that I was going to have my baby here in Romania. They thought I should go back to the States to have a baby, and it worked out fine. So those were just some of the top.
You think about it, there's babies born all the time in Romania. They're prepared for that.
Top 10 things we could think of that are.
Okay, so I like the Calderon family. They seem like cool people. I don't know where they're living in Romania. And some of these things aren't as shocking since I've lived in Romania, and some of them I was kind of like, oh, I'd never heard about while living in Romania, right? So everyone will be shocked by different things. These Calderon people seem really cool. Hopefully you can check them out. But that's it for this reaction video. Hopefully you liked it. We'll catch you next time on Bonarescu TV. See ya!